Access HD2 Clearwater, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey, Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily, coming up next exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
I'm Omar Reese with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Big news out of the Big Apple. The Jets are making Sauce Gardner the highest paid corner in NFL history. NFL Network insiders reporting the 2022 fourth overall pick has agreed to a 4-year, $120.4 million extension, including $60 million in guaranteed money. Meanwhile, the Chiefs locking up guard Trey Smith to a record-setting 4-year, $94 million extension with $70 million guaranteed, making him the highest-paid guard in the league, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Kansas City had tagged Smith in February, but got the deal done just ahead of Tuesday's deadline. Elsewhere, Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin says he's frustrated over stalled contract extension talks. McLaurin, who's entering the final year of his 3-year deal that he signed in 2022, telling NBC Sports Washington he's not sure if he'll report to training camp next week. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Well, hey there, everybody. Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday to you. Happy Sports Daily to you. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Kester here. Max Power in producing. And we got a fun show for you as we've made our way through the Major League Baseball All-Star festivities. We end it with quite a bang last night. Is a swing-off better than home field being determined in the World Series when the All-Star game ends in a tie? I think we all have our answer to that as we get a swing-off last night. That was a lot of fun. We get major news for the Chiefs yesterday with Trey Smith. We'll discuss that at length today. We do not have Sri Aslata. He is on vacation, so we'll table that for next week. All kinds of good stuff, though, for you on this program, and we're excited for it. We'll give away some HTO as well today. It's all coming for you. What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Locations east, west, and historic Delano, featuring a rooftop deck, Wichita Brewing Company pizza and beer made here. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
A little sleepy this morning. It was a late night last night with the All-Star game going into that swing off, but it was totally worth it. I'm paying the price this morning, but it was a fun night last night.
Yeah, so if you missed it at home, the game ends in a tie. And if you'll recall, the game ending in a tie is how we got years of home field advantage being determined, because baseball thought we were really upset that the All-Star game ended in a tie. I don't remember being upset. I do remember thinking, oh, that's an interesting idea, and not having a problem with it. And then over time it played out, and you're like, yeah, that shouldn't be the case, because you might have like an opposing manager involved and all these things. So then they finally do away with that. I don't think anybody lost anything out of the All-Star game. This swing off, though, was great. Raise your hand if you knew that this was the tiebreaker, if there even was a tiebreaker.
I had no idea until it was actually getting ready to start.
Nobody did. Nobody had any clue, which made it
players didn't even know that was what the tiebreaker was.
Yeah, it felt like they just made it up on the spot. Yeah. Like, you know what? Let's have a swing off. I don't think Aaron Boone knew that there was going to be a tiebreaker because he had Aranda come in as his anchor leg, a dude that over the last 4 Major League Baseball seasons has 21 home runs. Yeah, you know what, Yankee fans, I get it. I've never totally understood all the Aaron Boone hate because they've had some success, but I get it now.
You
I get
understand
it
it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Randy Rosarena. You got your dude sitting. I get it. Aaron Judge probably was like gone. Bobby Witt Jr. sitting right there, bro. Like, what are we doing? Probably he's like, you know what? Who is in no danger of like me getting a phone call from their manager of like, what are you doing putting that dude in the derby? Maybe Aranda was the safe play there. But Kyle Schwarber, man, there's never been a dude built for that more than Kyle Schwarber. And then they were going to anchor. If Pete Alonso came up, he was going to hit 2 or 3 too because he's like the Derby King. Man, that was fun though. And Schwarber's moment was bigger than anything else that happened in the game. Probably anything else that happened the entire All-Star break. But that was pretty cool. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, and as a Braves fan, Kyle Schwarber, as a member of the Phillies, has broken the Braves' heart multiple times over the years, and in that stadium. I mean, he's familiar with hitting bombs in that stadium for sure. I got to tell you, from day one, I was never a fan of home field advantage being determined by the All-Star game, and it was for a couple of the reasons you mentioned, but also the fact that you've got players on teams that are nowhere near sniffing the playoffs entirely. And for the teams that were in first place and are contenders, their hopes and dreams of having home field advantage rests on the shoulders of players that have no interest in like they're not even close to the playoffs. So that never made sense to me that you're taking an exhibition game that's meant to be fun and you're slapping stakes on it. I never liked that at all. And I thought that there were other ways that different things should be determined. So when I remember hearing that they were taking that part of it away, and I was really happy because from day one, I'm like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Like, let's just keep it fun. Let's keep it an exhibition. It's okay. There doesn't have to be strings attached to everything.
Yeah, I agree. It just, we look, it's a fun event. Baseball's always got the advantage of there's nothing else going on. They can play the game at 100% speed and it doesn't change anything. There used to be more of an American League, National League, very real rivalry because they didn't ever play each other. That's not the case as much anymore, but it's fun. I mean, it's a fun event. The home run derby is great. The game is good. As for a quick recap of the Royals involved in the game, Maikel Garcia did get in and he had a run scored. So that was nice to see him get into the game. He had a walk.
Bobby Witt Jr. drove him in. That's the first time
Yep.
I think that's happened where a Royal has driven in another Royal when there have been 2 or more in the All-Star game.
And it was Bobby Witt Jr. with that hit scoring 2 runs that put the American League in a position. And then, of course, he scored the game tying run. So very involved there. Chris Bubic, very involved in the wrong way. He gave up a big home run. He had the most damage done to him of any pitcher in the All-Star game. 3 earned runs, and then Estevez was pretty good, not pretty good, really good. He allowed a hit, but he had 3 strikeouts in his inning. So pretty good, relevant showing for the Royals in the game. More than I thought. I was talking to Brandon Zinner yesterday. I didn't think Maikel Garcia was going to play. I thought Bubic probably would not pitch, although I should have thought about him being a lefty. And then I thought Estevez would probably get an inning and Witt would play.
Yeah, I thought that it overall was really a good showing for the Royals. And I know Chris Bubic gave up a home run. It wasn't a bad pitch, and it was Pete Alonso going opposite field.
Sure.
And that, sort of thing is going to happen when you're facing the Polar Bears. So, yeah, you would have loved to have a clean outing from Chris Bubic and then basically a flawless appearance for all 4 Royals. But the fact that all 4 of them got in and were represented in the game, there was definitely a lot of Kansas City flavor, and not just from the 4 players that were out there. Of course, Ryan O'Hearn, former Royal, started for the American League. Brent Rooker was all over the place. He's a guy that a lot of people forget played a little bit for the Royals a couple of years ago before they designated him for assignment. And he was in the swing off. He put the American League out into an early lead in that swing off. So a lot of Royals flavor from top to bottom in that All-Star game.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun, and we made it through. And now we get these couple of games to sit and stew. Or really, it's what do we get? It was
Couple of
today,
days,
Wednesday.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. So we get Wednesday and Thursday to stew before we get back to the action. And we will discuss getting back to the action here on Sports Daily today as well. Let's do it right off the top. If you want to win some HTO today, you can do that right now by texting the keyword T to the short code 20357. That's T 20357. You can enter this once per day. Message and data rates apply. It will get you a free cup of iced tea, any of the more than 25 flavors at East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby. And if you head out this weekend, Saturday, to West Wichita, you can get in on some Maine's Cousins Lobster food truck action. It will be there 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So get out there and check out all the buzz around that food truck. We had a lengthy discussion about the merits of a variety of shellfish yesterday. Lobster's shellfish, right? It's classified as a shellfish.
It comes in a shell, so yeah.
Yeah, it has a shell.
That's usually
so you can get out there.
That's the definition of a shellfish. If it comes in a shell.
Yeah. I just needed to make sure it was still classified in the same grouping as like a shrimp. But There we go. There it is. Good luck, everybody. We're going to come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come. We say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. We are glad to be here with you on this Wednesday as we get ready to start the second half of the Major League Baseball season. We will look ahead for the Royals, continue to evaluate things as some big decisions are going to have to be made over the next couple of weeks. I want to say thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up each and every day. It's great to have it on nights where you stay up too late watching All-Star games, which is what happens here. All right, let's talk about the Trey Smith deal, Tommy. This is an interesting deal. No surprise that the Chiefs wanted to get this done. They and Trey Smith Trey Smith had sort of been hinting at it at times. I still am not 100% sold on making him the highest paid interior lineman in football. But I get it. He's one of the best players. He played 665 passing down snaps last year, Tommy, and didn't give up a sack. He is fantastic. He's awesome. Great story. Legendary off the field when you think about the horrible shooting situation at the parade where he took care of and helped save some kids. And I love Trey Smith. For the Chiefs that don't run the ball, 2 highest paid interior linemen is a commitment. It's a big deal. Then I saw the structure of the deal, according to, I think Albert Breer had it, and it was like, oh, well, they front loaded it, which was smart, right? They put $27 million of the average annual value of 23 on the front year. That's going to help them now. That makes sense. But then Spotrac, however you pronounce the site that tracks all this stuff, they have it as the cap number being significantly larger next year than this year. And therein lies the problem of doing the deal in the way that they did it that I've been concerned with. It's going to cost you another player probably because they're way, way over the cap next year. So now I don't know how that's structured because you've got, on paper, it looks like, yeah, that's front loaded. That makes a lot of sense. Now they're going to get Trey Smith cheaper next year than they would have anyway. But then the cap number people say that's not the case. So I don't know how to track the cap stuff, but it's gonna be expensive next year, it sounds like.
How many years have the Chiefs been over the cap number and they structure things and they make it work like that?
They can, but they've got 2 high ticket free agents in particular coming up. Their list
No
of free
one's-
agents next year
Right.
is a little more daunting than normal.
But if they're what, yeah, and they're gonna lose players in free agency and that sort of thing. Every team does, and the Chiefs do. Like they lost Justin Reed, and they've had other players, L'Jarius Sneed, and other players in recent years that have walked away in free agency that the Chiefs have decided to not pay. I don't think a large cap hit has ever been prohibitive for not only the Chiefs but really any team from getting a deal done that they want to get done, because there are always ways to restructure contracts and deals to get better and to get, under the cap. And so I think it's a smart move. I think it's good to lock him up. I was never, I never, I was never in doubt that they were going to find a way to get something like this done, and they were able to make it happen right before the deadline. Trey Smith wanted to be there long term. The Chiefs wanted him there long term. I said it yesterday. It was telegraphed with the trade of Joe Thuney away that they were going to try to lock up their other guard, a younger guard, long term, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and look, next year they will have probably Travis Kelce coming off the books, Hollywood Brown coming off the books. Charles Omenihu is scheduled to, although I'm sure they'd like to keep him. You're going to have Kareem Hunt, Juju Smith-Schuster. A lot of players are coming off the books that will help. My point with bringing all of this up isn't, again, it's not anything again. I'm glad at the end of the day, I'm glad the Chiefs are keeping one of the best players in football. Like, don't get me wrong. And at the end of the day, I would rather have Trey Smith than, let's call it, George Karlaftis. If that's what it comes down. It may not come down to that, but just as like of how highly I regard Trey Smith, I'm glad they have him. My only thing is like, and look, waiting until the offseason, the risk was it runs into potentially a left tackle deal down the road. But if you did the exact same deal, Tommy, at the end of this season, then your cap hit isn't next year, right? It would be the year if it's the exact same deal. So then you get the savings that they would potentially have this year, which it looks like they will, and apply it to next year. But they didn't want to wait that long. And I don't think there was a holdout risk or anything like that. Trey Smith was on a big deal. He essentially gets that same deal stretched out over 4 years, 3 of them essentially guaranteed. And good for all parties. The Chiefs have Trey Smith. I have no issue with the deal. I think it's hard when you have players to keep them all. And the Chiefs have been doing a good job, obviously, of it for a long time. I think they've been drafting appropriately to absorb the blows of losing some of these players, as they always do. And they'll be great. They got Trey Smith. Now the interior line on the right side, maybe after this year when they lose all these passing weapons, they do decide to run the ball a little bit more. And then it's, and then you're again allocating resources to the strength of your team. But keeping Patrick Mahomes upright, always a good strategy.
Absolutely. And I think that I would rather have, if you're going to debate Trey Smith or somebody else, I'd rather have Trey Smith than Joe Thuney. And I love Joe Thuney to death, and he's a Pro Bowl caliber player. Like, but Trey Smith has more gas in the tank, and so and that's really what it I think came down to for me was, hey, they're trying to lock up a younger guy long term and move away from somebody who was fantastic for the Chiefs, doesn't have it as many years left in the league. On top of that, if you want to talk about large contracts and cap hits and things like that, I would much rather have. I think everybody would much rather have a large contract for a guy like Trey Smith, even though he's on the interior, as opposed to a large contract for Juwan Taylor, who might be on the end.
He's coming off the books next year, too.
Juwan Taylor's contract is massive and way overpaid and all of that. And so that was a swing and a miss by the Chiefs front office when they signed him. So I think, ultimately, I'm okay with this. I get it. I understand the reasons why both sides wanted to do this. And regardless of what the Chiefs' game plan has historically been in the lack of running the ball, this was a smart move for them, and I have no objections to it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. And the other thing is, too, if McDuffie and Karlaftis both just play out the final year of their contracts and don't do the we command a contract before our contract is expired thing that happens in the NFL, then that's not a problem, because they're not they're not at risk until 27, technically speaking. The free agents next year, it's Charles Omenihu that you'd like to be able to keep, which they found a way to do this year. but almost all the other players, they're not going to like lose sleep. Isaiah Pacheco would be one that potentially comes off, but he's going to have to. He's going to be a team friendly deal, I think, if the Chiefs keep him. Hopefully, he's healthy this year and he commands a little more money. That would be good for the Chiefs, obviously. But it's all pushing it down the road. Trey Smith is awesome. Trey Smith needs to be a Chief forever. Like all of that still applies. They've had a tremendous discount on him. He has earned his money. There's no question about any of that. And I'm glad the Chiefs have him. It's just, you've got to keep doing this, and probably Mahomes restructures and they'll figure out a way to do it and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Now this year, when the only drama you've got in an off season is whether or not your right guard is willing to play on the tag or needs a new deal, and he's not threatening a holdout, I would say that's as successful an offseason for the NFL as you can get as far as the drama department. The Chiefs just didn't have any. They didn't have any. Early in the offseason, it was interesting to watch them piece it all together, run it all back, and they've been drama-free. And that's exactly what you want to see.
It's been a while since we've had a drama-free offseason for the Chiefs. And so it's been refreshing and nice to not have to worry about what's the next piece of drama that's going to happen.
Nothing. Hopefully everybody's about to be in training camp. Like we've passed the danger zone. Unless somebody goes out in St. Joe and gets a little too rowdy on a Wednesday night. Like I think we're to the point that we're in a good shape there. Camp starts next week. And here we go. And now it's all about football. And when it's all about football, Trey Smith's going to help you win football games. 665 snaps last year for the Pro Bowler without giving up a sack up the middle. For a Mahomes that was sacked and under pressure plenty last season.
On top of that, he's been extremely durable in his career. And there's a reason why when the Chiefs drafted him,
one game. Yep.
There's a reason why when they drafted him, he fell to the round that they took him in, because he had injury concerns up to that point. Right. But he's been very durable for the Chiefs over the course of his career. And, what's that old cliche saying? The best ability is availability. Yep. And he's been available, right? He's been by and large available during his time with the Chiefs. And when there was a revolving door at left tackle last season, there's been uncertainty at other areas on the line, right tackle, other places like that. It's going to be nice to know that you've at least got your center locked up in Creed Humphrey long-term, and you've got your right guard in Trey Smith locked up, and you're not going to have to worry about, barring injury, any kind of revolving door there. Their abilities are there, and they're locked in for a long period of time, which is great.
Yeah, it's a good day to be a Chiefs fan. You get this awesome player, and he's going to be there now for maybe ever as a Chief. And I think too, like if you had to list off the guys currently on the roster, of course Patrick Mahomes, of course Travis Kelce, of course Chris Jones, as guys you'd like to see be Chiefs forever. Trey Smith's just as high as anybody on that list, isn't he? I mean, he's been the guy. And by the way, his injury issue doesn't it remind you of Josh Simmons a little bit?
It does.
Smith fell all the way to the sixth.
Injury concerns.
Smith fell all the way to the 6th round. So it's a little different. But Simmons was that kind of talent too at a more premium position in the NFL. Boy, if he's healthy this year, I've had a hard time suppressing expectations a little bit, Tommy, because it's so early. But man, if Simmons can start at left tackle and just kind of be there and be healthy, it's going to be hard for me not to send this team back to the Super Bowl. I really like the Ravens this year, but what is there not to like about the Chiefs this year? It's the same team essentially as a year ago, with very, very likely a much better offense than a year ago, and very, very likely better to much better at the biggest area of need on the team a year ago. I'm having a hard time with not saying, you know what, here we go again. The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only question mark for me is what the defense looks like going into this year, that you don't have Justin Reed anymore. And so the secondary, it wasn't like they made a bunch of, or any really high profile free agent signings in the offseason on the defensive side of the ball. So they're by and large relying on players that had been on the roster a season ago and, to step into Justin Reed's role on the defensive line outside of Chris Jones and Mike Dana. I have some questions there, but overall, yeah, look, they're about the same team as they were a year ago, and that team, almost went all the way.
Yeah, they look, and the other teams have gotten better too. Ravens, for instance, same team, same offense, which was so prolific, but that defense that started to get really good by the end of the year last year because of all the young players is another year in now with a bunch of with more experience and more drafted players to make them talented. That's kind of the team for me. Just right now, again, we're about to see training camp, but that's kind of the team for me where I'm like, this could be the year that look at what happened to them last year. Mark Andrews doesn't catch the ball, whatever. Like, they were that close. If Derrick Henry is still the same player, and who are we to say he won't be? He's kind of a unicorn. That's the team to me right now that seems to be the most poised to stand in the way. You agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Bills, it's just the same Bills.
It's the Bills,
Josh Allen.
The Ravens.
Nobody's better at beating Mahomes in general than Josh Allen. It just hasn't happened for them in the playoffs. Cincinnati, they would have to take a Herculean jump defensively with basically no changes on defense. So that seems unlikely. And then it's the Eagles, probably. Are there more than those four? I don't know. I really like the Rams. The Niners, I suppose, could come back, but they got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of older players. I think it's probably those four.
I like the Commanders.
If you gave me those four against the field, I'm taking those four.
I like the Commanders. They're a team that,
I think there's regression there coming.
Yeah, I don't. I from what we saw from Jaden Daniels last year, sure, he could follow the same path as CJ Stroud with Houston and take a step back in his second year. But with Dan Quinn there and the defensive mind that he's got, and the fact that I think that they've surrounded him with a really good amount of talent with offensive weapons and that sort of thing, I do like them.
Yeah, they're right there. They're right there. I think they play in a pretty good division. I think, I don't know. I see them regressing. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong, kind of. Even as a Cowboys fan, I hope I'm wrong because I think Jaden Daniels is awesome, and I think Dan Quinn is awesome. So really like both of those. Hey, the Summer Concert Series is back at the Capitol Federal Amphitheater in Andover. The series returns Friday, July 18th with Big Fat Fun live on stage. Gates open at 6:30. Show starts at 8. Enjoy free live music, food trucks, and Friday night fun all summer long. You can find a full schedule at knssradio.com, at kfhradio.com, at keynradio.com. It's all there for you as Odyssey supports those. All right, we have Kevin Saul. We got him kind of mid-segment there, so we wanted to hang tight and let Kevin get a full segment in here on the show. There is a lot of shocker news and notes and loose ends to tie up. We've got the Aftershock starting up in just a few days. Sydney McKinney's back on the softball staff. We've got men's basketball and just basketball in general sort of getting the work in early. Want to get Kevin Saul's thoughts on tournament expansion, who that might help and hurt. A lot of stuff to talk to, so we wanted to give Kevin a full segment. That will come next for you here on Sports Daily, as that's all coming into form too. Paul Mills talked yesterday, Tommy, about the work that men's basketball is doing, and no injuries or anything like that. It's you just don't get a ton of time. You get this time right now, and like that, and then it's the season almost.
On top of that, TBT kicks off later this week at Koch Arena, so there'll be a lot of folks on campus for that. NBC World Series kicks off as well on campus. Like, there's a lot going on around Wichita State, even though it's the summertime.
Yeah, for July 16th, that's all coming. So that'll come up here in just a few minutes. A reminder, no Shreyas Laddha today. He is out. But we have to get you all in tune and caught up on the Kansas City Royals in their second half. So here we go. Kevin Saul, Wichita State Athletic Director, joins the show. Stick around. We got more Sports Daily coming right up.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now. 83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH. And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
All right, we welcome you back in here to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you, and we are glad to welcome in Wichita State Athletic Director Kevin Saul. Kevin, thanks for hanging with us there. A couple extra minutes, kind of had a in-betweener connection there. How are you this morning?
Oh, it's all good. Good morning, Jacob. How are you?
Good. So, of all the things that you guys have dropping this week between a baseball tournament, a basketball tournament, softball announcements, I would say how's the summer, but I would suspect it's been pretty busy.
It has been pretty busy. You know, our external events group, Brad, and the facility operations group do an awesome job with our external events, TBT, NBC. AUSL, those guys do an awesome job with that. And then we've got a lot of the other department that's wrapped up in recruiting and retention and budgeting and all the things that occupy our time in the summer. We've had men's and women's basketball and volleyball on campus that have been practicing, and we're navigating the new CAPS and NIL Go systems that are a part of the House settlement. Fundraising, trying to sell season tickets. So it's been a busy summer.
Let's talk a little bit, Kevin, about the big news over the last 24 hours or so that Sydney McKinney is coming back to Wichita State as a graduate assistant. And obviously she's played some pro softball and continued her career after her time at Wichita State. But having somebody that's a legend like her and the impact that she's made on that softball program coming back and now working with the players, what's the importance? How important is that to have her on staff?
Well, Tommy, I think all three of us understand. Everybody understands. Anytime you can bring back a consensus All-American that is an unbelievable human being as a person into your program, there's limitless benefits to that. So she understands how Christy wants to play the game. So it's another voice. She's truly a authentic and genuine human being that our student athletes will have tremendous benefit from just being around and listening. She's got an incredible work ethic. She's achieved at the highest levels of softball. I don't know what more you could ask for in terms of an individual joining your program. So when we found out a couple weeks ago that was happening, we were ecstatic.
Yeah, it's just great news. One of the true legendary shockers of the last generation. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Kevin, before we preview the events you guys have coming this week and talk about men's basketball and what you're seeing specifically, I do want to bring up the hot item news in college sports lately has been potential expansion of the NCAA tournament, maybe by as many as 8 or 6 or 8 teams. When you hear that, like where does your initial reaction fall with that kind of a conversation, which is a bit of a lightning rod among fans?
Yeah, I think the initial thoughts for me, and again, everybody comes to the conversation with biased thoughts, right? Based on your journey and your background and your experience. So obviously working 27 years in athletics, I think a couple of different things. Number one, it's more opportunities for young people to be a part of a really special event. I can see the flip side of that coin where folks think, man, it might get a little bit watered down if you've got too many teams there. But I do see student athlete opportunity. That's a really special time. Having been a part of numerous ones of those and 3 Final Fours, man, it's an unbelievable time for young people. So there is that perspective. And then you also think about it from an access perspective is, are those going truly to the best teams, and how are the best teams being evaluated, right? So the window itself gets bigger, but still you're concerned about how you walk through that window and get the invitation. And then you think about it financially. From my perspective, again, taking into account the first 2 elements, if it doesn't result in additional dollars that are distributed, I'm not sure the true benefit of that. But at the end of the day, the NCAA, Danny Gabbett and his team do an unbelievable job with the basketball tournament. Joanne Scott, I've known those guys for 10, 15 years. They do a great job. And obviously CBS and Turner Sports do a fantastic job broadcasting it. But we'll see what they come up with. At the end of the day, I think it can be a positive.
Kevin, I got to ask you too, the big news over the last few days. I know we're a couple of weeks now into the House settlement and all the deals with NIL and everything like that has kind of come to pass. But there has been nationally discussion about this valid business purpose part of the settlement and everything with NIL and how collectives play into that role and everything. Are you guys seeing a lot of that at Wichita State now, or is that something that you've not yet experienced?
Yeah, we don't have a tremendous amount of commercial NIL activity at Wichita State. We have some, but we don't have a significant amount, and the deals are not to the magnitude of what you're reading nationally. At the same time, I do think that what you're seeing is you're seeing some discord about the system being tamped down a little bit, right? This unwieldy distribution of dollars for what would appear to be non-business, true business purposes over the last 3 to 4 years is getting tamped down. And so, the House settlement plaintiffs' attorneys are certainly speaking their mind, and the new Collegiate Sports Commission is certainly speaking their mind that they're acting on behalf of what's in the House settlement. But you are seeing some commercial NIL deals get denied in the NIL Go system for an evaluation that basically they don't hold a valid business purpose that is beneficial to the general public in terms of trading goods and services, and just simply distributing money from a collective to a young person is not a valid business purpose. So based on what I hear from our fan base and some of the discord about where athletics is right now, I would think most folks would look at that tamping down and the discord that's come from it as a positive.
Well, and I would think that if that's the case and it gets more into the other side on the university control, doesn't that lend itself a little bit to advantage shockers in men's and potentially women's basketball, which I wanted to ask you about too, in the revenue share model without football, right? If there's more directed that way, then that creates the advantage versus, X big SEC school still manipulating. I just don't know how it's enforceable, though. Do you think it's enforceable?
Well, at the end of the day, I don't think any rule book or regulations enforcement entity can truly stop a wrongdoer from finding a way to do wrong, right? At the end of the day, I don't know that there's any system that can't be cheated or at least attempted. But at the end of the day, we've got to a spot in our industry where we really need to coalesce together and follow the guidance and the rules in this settlement. Otherwise, you risk some pretty detrimental outcomes for our industry. So at the end of the day, I think it truly is an advantage, guys. I think that's a great point, and it's one that we've talked about extensively here in the last month or so. Jacob, is as a Division I AAA entity, which is in short is a non-football Division I institution. We are at a distinct advantage because we operate under the same $20.5 million cap that KU and K-State does, and we don't have to allocate the resources to our football program. We've seen in the NIL numbers that have been disclosed by ADs and CFOs in our league that we are at an advantage. We're seeing that their basketball numbers are going down from FY25 to FY26, while ours continue to go up. So that's another data point that's validating what we believe is that we will be at a distinct advantage. Guys, think about this. So what counts within the cap? It's additional scholarships above what we were doing last year. It's revenue share. It's also educational funds. And so if any institution decides to enhance scholarships, that counts towards the $20.5 million cap. Any revenue share agreements count towards the $20.5 million cap, and any Alston educational funds count towards that $20.5 million cap. And so you've got institutions that are going to butt up against that $20.5 million cap because they're trying to figure out a way to maximize what they're doing in football. And in some cases, even publicly stated, have said 75 to 80% of our cap number is going to go to football, which only leaves about 15, 10, 12% for men's basketball. So you can do the numbers and the math on 20.5%. If you're at a Division I AAA institution, whether it's Wichita State or the Big East or whatever the case may be, and you're still operating under a $20.5 million cap and you don't have the massive football to feed, you are at a distinct advantage.
Pardon my ignorance on this, Kevin. I am curious about this, and maybe there's a reason that I am just completely not thinking about. But with all of these changes and everything, and with the fact that now you've got collectives that are being denied deals because they're not quote unquote valid business reasons or valid business purposes, and then you've got revenue sharing from the university and all of that, is there still a large purpose long term for collectives?
Yeah, no, the answer, in my opinion, the answer is no. Okay. Wichita State. So just to walk you through the journey. Wichita State in July of 2021, when NIL was made permissible, just facts, again, not intending to be crass or blunt, basically did nothing for 9 months. And then Tyler and Timber and those guys came in and started up the Armchair Strategies, that collective, and certainly did some great work to support our student athletes in our program. And then that transitioned into the relationship with Blueprint Sports and the Wheat Shot Collective. But at the end of the day, we could, within reason, we could forecast that a lot of these deals were going to be denied. And the fact that revenue share was coming inside of athletic programs, a year and a half ago, we started questioning, do we need a collective, understanding where things were going? And so we've dissolved our relationship with our collective because we have the ability to do those things within the department, and many other universities have as well. But some of these collectives are incredibly lucrative collectives with large staffs that are receiving compensation and benefits and all those things, and they're independent business entities that haven't been dissolved. The relationship between the entity and the institution may have gotten dissolved, but at the end of the day, there's still collectives out there, and they're certainly frustrated about where the NIL Go system is headed.
Well, one more on that, Kevin, and then we can get people the info on the TBT. So the revenue share, all of this goes into the big pot of money. You guys had a huge challenge to raise some money last year. Yes, there's an advantage at the cap. Is Wichita State in a good position to reach the cap without football?
No, that'll be a tough haul for us, if I'm being blunt and transparent with you. Getting to $20.5 million without football at our place will be tough. But the real question to ask, Jacob, is can we get to a spot that puts us at a distinct competitive advantage against our football playing peers within the American, and also in our regional and national aspirational peers, based on they're going to get 15% of that $20.5 million cap, right? So that's about $3 million, somewhere between 3 and 4. Can we surpass those Power 4 institutions on their $3 or $4 million that they're probably going to get for their internal revenue share for their men's basketball program? Absolutely.
There we go.
And we fully intend to do that. So at the end of the day, we feel like we're an advantage. We keep pushing. Our number has increased in the last 2 fiscal years, guys. Our number has increased 518%. So we see that this is an incredible priority for us. We're investing in it. Our community is investing in it. We've got some really exciting conversations that are going on right now to try to elevate that number into a competitive spot.
Love it. Love it. That's the goal for sure. And that those practices happening now, which we'll talk about another time, are going to be a big part of it, getting the Shockers into winning championships. Real quick, TBT starts Friday. I'm looking online. I see all session passes are sold out, but individual game tickets are still available, including for the Aftershocks Friday night, Kevin. Still plenty of chances to get out to Coke Arena.
Yeah, the Aftershocks play Friday night, and barring a win, they play again on Sunday. So just encourage folks to get out. It's typically been a pretty large walk-up crowd, but if you want to skip the lines, you can certainly call 316-978-FANS and get your tickets today. But just look forward to another great event. Friday night's always a great night, guys, because you have that first game with the Aftershocks, but it's also a special night for our program because we get all the basketball alumni back together. Ryan Hillard and Gretchen Torline put in a really cool event where our current players get an opportunity to meet with all the alumni. So it's a great weekend.
Can't wait for it, Kevin. Thanks. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. We'll be back with more Sports Daily.
Thanks, guys. Go Shockers.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
Happy Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday, everybody. Thanks to Kevin Saul. A lot of good stuff there with Kevin in that last segment. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen on the Odyssey app, on the iHeartRadio app, where we are available for you. Thanks to everybody listening to us there, over the air here on KFH, and for watching us on 12 News Connected, Facebook, YouTube, X, all the great places. Your commentary always welcome here. Max Power producing alongside Tommy Castor. I'm Jacob Albrock. We've got some Royals talk coming up this hour. We will recap a few of the notes there from Kevin. I think that maybe, get into a little more discussion. All of it on tap. It's What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, with locations east, west, historic Delano, featuring a rooftop deck. Wichita Brewing Company, pizza and beer made here. Tommy, that was a good conversation. I think when we talk about the Shockers, who yesterday were in the news only because scheduled media availability from Paul Mills and team to sort of try to grasp what's going on with men's basketball. And we think about all these things and, yes, Wichita State's going to have an advantage, but man, you got to get there. And it has always been this chicken and the egg, but I do think if this stays in this lane, and it's probably going to get challenged with how the NIL part works, it's going to be an advantage for the Shockers, for the Big East, and it will even the playing field a little bit because they'll have more dollars to allocate to the players in these sports.
Yeah, the allocation.
Get those dollars raised though, which is the challenge.
The allocation piece of it is important and will be an advantage for Wichita State. But that doesn't solve the first issue, and that is raising the money to then be allocated. And so there's a challenge in front of them to be able to make sure that they can be in a competitive position to do that. And regardless if it is at the cap or under the cap, as Kevin Saul mentioned, as long as they are comparatively competitive with their peers in the conference that also have football, then at that point, you do feel good about where they can stand from a competitive advantage standpoint.
But let's be ambitious. I think it's more than ultimately it's going to be more than, having more than Tulane, right? It's about being competitive with your Big 12 peers that are around you regionally that have to go for football, right? Can you get to the dollars, and maybe it's a handful of million, as Kevin just mentioned? Can you get to the dollars overall? And I think that you can. If 10 to 15% of 20 million is going to men's basketball from a power conference football team, can you get to 2-3 million raised that could go to men's basketball? I think that's the attainable goal for Wichita State. And certainly for other schools like Wichita State, Big East, A-10. And if these schools can do that, I think we could see, in theory, and we've got to have some time with this, but on paper and in theory, you could see a level of recruit and athlete coming through the doors that we haven't seen in a very long time, and at Wichita State certainly. So that is a fun idea, and a further idea of one that we've had forever, that Wichita State can be at its absolute peak competitive with anybody in the country. This new stuff would lend itself to that. We got to see how it plays out, though. I still, until I see Kentucky sit back and donate money to football and pull back from men's, until we see how that plays out, you got to just kind of be hopeful, I guess, but nothing more than hopeful, because it's still like, how these programs aren't going to just let that go as much as they love football. Well, how do they bridge that gap? And I don't know that yet, but certainly it gives an attainable goal to Wichita State. Can you continue down that path to raise $2, $3, $4 million for men's basketball?
Yeah, on a different note, I did appreciate his comments about tournament expansion and about, the same kind of access questions that we posed and other people have posed about, are these potential, if it happens and comes to pass, these additional bids, are they actually going to the best schools, or are they going to mediocre Power 4 teams to have them have access into the NCAA tournament? And so it was good, at least for me, to hear that folks on the inside and Kevin Saul at Wichita State, and I'm sure other athletic directors at schools similar to Wichita State, are thinking that same sort of thing, I would imagine, about, does this actually benefit us, or is this whole conversation about tournament expansion a smoke show, really, a smoke screen to basically distract and add in schools that maybe are not deserving and will water down the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a best case scenario, it's both, right? You're going to get some of both. If they go straight by metrics and bubble teams and things like that, that's probably the way that would go. But I also think in that conversation, the key part is, but it has to make more money, right? You can't water down what's made by, earning a berth into that tournament, because at that point, it really doesn't benefit anybody. And it takes us into a conversation we didn't have time for yesterday. You saw something that this could get tied into what sorts of sponsorships are allowed in the tournament. If alongside this, essentially, and correct me because I just skimmed it yesterday when you sent, but essentially, if some rules are changed and it could become the, Bud Light, it brought to you by Bud Light instead of only brought to you by usually like a cell phone company.
Capital One,
AT&T, I think. Then the dollars could go up, and it could be like, if it's all a part of the same thing, that could be the key to expansion. I thought that was pretty interesting and makes some sense. And I mean, I get it. I understand why that might feel like a slippery slope, but isn't that more for the viewer and less than the participant? A title sponsor of a television broadcast. I don't know. That's an I mean, look, everybody needs more money right now with the salary or with the revenue share. So if that's all it takes, I'll bet that gets changed. I don't think they would ever get into, like, it's not going to be brought to you by DraftKings or anything. That might be the slippery slope. But as far as a beer sponsorship on some of this stuff, I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. And there were, these articles that came out over the last couple of days about how financially with the NCAA tournament, they turn over the advertising rights to CBS and Turner. And, so at that point, and then there are those restrictions and all of that. So at least as things stand right now, there's a limit on the kind of revenue that can be driven to the member schools through the NCAA because of the networks. And so if you're going to expand, then there also needs to be a loosening of the restrictions to be able to allow more sponsor categories to come in and be able to spend advertising dollars. Because right now, like, there's a cap on that.
Yeah, it needs to is probably a point of debate for some people, whether a college event
If you're going to expand.
If they're going to make it financially viable for the reasons we've wondered about, which is, are you watering down what you're giving a school for making it in? Because then I really don't think anybody's going to be supportive of it. But if you can have equity, which I always assumed was just implied, I guess it's not. But yeah, if you're going to expand, you have to have the extra bids be just as valuable as they were before, or what voting body or whoever, like, who would want that? Like, you wouldn't want that. Nobody would want that. So that's an interesting discussion as well. But appreciate the conversation with Kevin Saul. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen there on the Odyssey app. It'll be there for you. You can keep listening to Sports Daily as well anytime on the Odyssey app. If you go to odyssey.com as well, you can download it. You can search for KFH. It's all available for you. We've got to talk some Royals, Tommy, when we come back. We'll have today and tomorrow, but we're now through it. We're through the All-Star game. All the secondary stuff is behind us. It is all from here on out now, the unofficial second half of the baseball season, as the Royals sit 3 games under 500 with critical decisions to make and, experts weighing in on what sorts of decisions they might make. What do we think? We're no experts, but we do watch a lot of baseball and a lot of Royals baseball and listen to a lot of Royals baseball here on the home of the Royals, KFH. So we'll get into that. What do we expect in the second half? Are the Royals going to make the playoffs? Can they make the playoffs? What needs to happen to make the playoffs? Can they make the playoffs with the roster as it currently stands? Can they make the playoffs if they trade away from the roster as it currently stands? Or do they need to go find something on the roster? And is the risk worth it in a season that they're 3 games under 500? We'll have that full discussion as we look to the second half next. Maybe go back to the Trey Smith news. If you didn't catch us in the first hour, we'll get you caught up on what the Chiefs did yesterday. A massive, massive decision that they made financially to one of the league's best players. We've got it all for you. It is another hour of Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht, Tommy Castor. Stick around.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you on a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Tommy, this is my Hawaiian of question. Don't get any wild ideas here. This is the one that famously last year, about this time, I learned that you got to be a little bit careful with pineapples on a shirt. They can indicate some things.
Yeah, you got to be very, very careful on wearing that shirt out in public.
I didn't know this, by the way, until I was at a fantasy football draft last year. And I'm just having a good time. And somebody's like, hey, you know what that might mean, right? And I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And then I found out, and I'm like, boy, I've been wearing this shirt for like 3-4 years in a regular rotation in the summertime, maybe once a week.
Well, and you're wearing it to a fantasy football draft, which I mean that has a whole different kind of connotation.
Yeah, I think that I might be slightly offended that nobody ever got the wrong idea. You know what I mean?
You've never been propositioned while
no,
wearing
not because of this shirt. Anyway. Like I think that hurts my feelings a little bit, maybe. It would have been a no for anybody that's curious out there.
Would it have been? I mean, I think you
it
would
have been a no.
You might have considered it for a split second, though.
Nah, I can't imagine a scenario that I would. That's it. That Seinfeld episode. Did you ever see that Seinfeld episode? God, I don't know if I'm allowed to use some of the words that they use in it. There's a Seinfeld episode where Jerry is propositioned. He tries to back himself out of a bad relationship by propositioning, and then they're into it, And he freaks out. He's like, now I don't know what to do. I'm not that guy. I don't know what to. It's a great Seinfeld episode.
There was a Seinfeld reference in yesterday's show too that Max and I were talking about, going back to the lobster and shellfish conversation, the lobster bisque and the yada yada yada, and you can't yada yada over the best part. And Elaine goes, "Well, no, I mentioned the lobster bisque."
Yeah, that one. And when George, gets a sneak peek and shrinkage and
Yeah,
the
I was in the
lobster
pool.
on the scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Way to go, Seinfeld. Anywho, all safe here on Sports Daily on a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday, as we learn things about culture and society that we didn't know at times. Let's talk Royals here, Tommy. Second half is now, do we call it now, underway? I know we're well over the actual halfway point of games. The Royals have played 97 of them. So they're almost a full 20 games over the actual halfway point, but a good sample size. And now it gets down to the nitty gritty of what has to happen for them to reach the postseason. It's been a nice July. Is what we've seen in July, I guess, first and foremost, enough to reignite the hope of a postseason berth for the Royals? For me, it is. I'll go first. It absolutely is. It's a reminder that this team is very well built and positioned on paper to be a playoff team.
Yeah, it's enough to ignite the fire. It's enough to spark the fire.
Okay.
I don't think it's enough to maintain the fire long term. I think that they're going to need to find some additions at the trade deadline and be very strategic on what they have to add to their roster to get over that hump. Because I do think that there are some very positive developments coming in the month of July leading up to the All-Star break, and that's great. And the way that they played lately, the clutch ability, the way that we've seen, some of the guys that we've really been begging to step up offensively, they've been able to do that. That's all well and good. That's great. I don't think it's enough to maintain the level of success that we want to see from them through the remainder of this month into August and into September. I think it's enough to get them at least to the trade deadline, but they're going to need some reinforcements if they want to have a playoff spot and be a legitimate contender going into the postseason. And especially knowing that their pitching core is depleted now a little bit with injuries and that sort of thing, with Lorenzen and Lynch and Reagans and all of that now on the IL. They've got to try to be strategic on how they make these moves. I don't think that you can go from the pool of starting pitching to try to get better. I at this point, I don't think that they should trade Seth Lugo. I think they need to ride that out and see what they've got and what they can do with the pitchers they currently have. So I don't know. It's going to be challenging. It'll be a very challenging couple of weeks to try to evaluate what JJ Piccolo is going to do.
One of the perceived softer schedules remaining. The challenge is, of course, they have to play better and they have to jump 5 teams to get into the wild card. Some combination of 5 teams. And really you're tied with Cleveland, sort of. So maybe it's 6. But everybody, like over the past, how long have we been talking about this? Month and a half, 2 months. There has been no major separation among the teams that are competing for this thing. There are 9 of them. And really, there are Houston and Detroit. I don't, Toronto got on that one hot streak, but Detroit's probably the only team completely safe from needing to worry about the wild card. And that's maybe a bit of a stretch. So really there are 12 teams competing for 6 spots. More realistically, there are kind of 9 teams competing for 3. All right there. And it's been that way forever in the American League this year. They kind of move around each other. So I do think that lends itself to the Royals needing to give themselves an advantage there. I think that they have some inherent advantages built in. If players end this season to what they normally do over the course of a season, it's going to mean the offense plays better the rest of the way. And I think that's entirely possible. I think the biggest move that they will have made, the most impactful, they've already made it in the promotion of Jack Caglione, It's kind of on him now. You got to play this waiting game of him to develop, and he's showing some signs. He's the unluckiest hitter, by the way. Computer nerds will tell you he's the unluckiest hitter in baseball by contact rates and how hard he hits the ball and barrel rates and all those things. He's been very unlucky, so that will help. But I do agree. I think it's very difficult for me to imagine a scenario where the Royals reach their potential and don't have Seth Lugo as a part of it. I also, as talented as he is and would be, I contend the best pitcher traded, he is a rental, which has become far less valuable to the trading team than it used to be. And so I think you got to keep that in mind. Maybe there's not a package that makes it worth it for the Royals. Is there a package that's worth a first-round compensation pick if he walks? I don't know. That's a big question if there would be.
I've also seen comparisons of a potential of the Royals keeping Seth Lugo for the remainder of this season. I've seen comparisons to that being similar to when Dayton Moore didn't move Mike Moustakas or Eric Hosmer.
2017.
And how those guys, they had value at that time, but Dayton Moore didn't move them, and then their value went away, and they got far less in return, from those guys. And really,
they were in the middle of a playoff chase that year.
They were in the middle of a playoff chase, but I think the difference is that, Seth Lugo, while, his age is a factor, has not shown diminishing returns in his time as a starter.
No, I think it's the rental aspect.
I think it's the rental. It's not the comparison of, they're not going to be as good, if he keeps them, if JJ Piccolo keeps Seth Lugo. So I don't buy that comparison whatsoever. I don't think that it's the same thing remotely.
I don't either, other than Dayton Moore chose to let these guys try to make the playoffs. And so, there could be some decision to ride it out just to try to make the playoffs. I'll never fault Dayton Moore for that year. And I'll tell you why. Not from just not a baseball perspective. If you thought that there was no chance for that team to make it and everything else, what you had for the Royals at the time was basically decades of futility, not giving the fans a real reason to get out there. Then you have 2014 and 15, and 2016 was also really good. And I believe this was all 2017. Or maybe it was 2016, whichever year it was. Like, you had the fans showing up. The fans rewarded the organization for success. They were a top half. I think they were a top third attendance team in those years and were that year. And to me, like, to go for it one more time and to let that particular group of players collectively go for it, to let the fans have them go for it, I'm never going to fault them for that. That is comparable to this year to me, right? That piece of it is similar. You had these terrible years with a rebuild that took way too long following the first one, oddly. But that's not because they didn't trade those players. It's because they missed too often in the draft and they just weren't developing any players. So now you have a similar situation. You've had this far too long rebuild. Last year, you get to the postseason. You're starting to see a fan base reignited again this year. I am totally fine not pulling the rug out from underneath the fans on that and becoming a major seller. Would that be a better baseball decision? It's debatable. It maybe would. But I think the fans have earned another playoff chase. And again, we've got 2 critical weeks here for this to play out a little bit. But I think the fans have earned it. So I've got no problem. If the Royals decide to just kind of stand pat and they don't make it, I'm not going to just hammer them for not trading Seth Lugo. Unless they lose every game between now and the deadline and fall like 10 games back, I think it's fine to go for it. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I also think, too, that the difference between back then and now is that there is a young, solid core that can continue to propel this team forward for many years. There wasn't that at the time in 2016, 2017 with the Royals. And so they were going to have to be in rebuild mode. That's not really the case, a wholesale rebuild for the Royals moving forward. I do think that also with Lugo, maybe he's going to chase the most money he can if he's not traded by the Royals, or regardless if he is or not, declining a player option, hitting free agency this offseason. He's earned that. He deserves that. I don't think anybody would fault him for that because he's had a ton of success since being named as a starter. But at the same time, I also would love to see the Royals be in the mix for his services long term, and Seth Lugo potentially rewarding the Royals by being faithful to them and them being faithful to him and being loyal. Again, is it going to happen? I don't know. I mean, Lugo may take the largest check possible if the Royals don't move him and hit the open market, and there might be a big market team that wants to throw a Brinks truck at him. But I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see there be some loyalty back and forth, and probably unlikely, but you never know.
Yeah, look, I mean, they did it with Waka, right? And so there's some precedence there. They did it with Waka. They signed him to a big deal. They followed it up, and it's been, I think, probably a good decision the way Waka's pitched this year. Lugo will cost you more, but he's already going to cost you $15 million if he opted in next year. So how much more do you budget in for it? I think it's absolutely possible that they could do something like that. Ken Rosenthal, Tommy, reported that there is, and this would have been maybe over the weekend, that there is consistent interest, he calls it, from rival executives regarding the 3 top catching prospects the Royals have. So essentially, the Royals have 3 of their top 7 prospects right now in their system are all 3 catchers, including the top 2, according to the MLB.com rankings and most rankings, Blake Mitchell and Carter Jensen. And so you've got, including Blake Mitchell, who Blake Mitchell is a little bit younger than Jensen. I absolutely think if you're going to be aggressive, there it is. They already have Salvi. They already have Freddie Fermin. They basically have 5 potential like they have a glut of catchers. It's probably time and opportunity to trade one of them. If you're looking for a bat that can come now, I would love for any trade they make of a bat to be a bat that can also help them next year to help solve that problem down the road as well. So if you include one of these catchers, especially one of the top 2, you can have you've got a good starting point for a controllable bat.
That's when you look at a guy, because it isn't like Adolis Garcia. He's under contract for next season too, I believe. He's not a pure rental. I think he's got.
He's either got 1 year or no years left. Let me double check.
I think he's got 1 year left. At least one of the names that's been floated around recently has one more controllable year.
He has. No, he has one more. Yes, he has the rest of this year and next.
Brian Reynolds has a bunch of years. Like that's a little bit.
But he's a bunch of money. Yeah, Brian. I'm starting to sour on the idea of Brian Reynolds a little bit because of that contract. But yes, Adolis Garcia, you'd get him the rest of this year and next. Jaron Duran, you would get for a long time.
I think that's unlikely. I don't think the Red Sox.
Boston just has stayed really good. I don't know that they would still have any interest. I think that was partly because they traded Devers and people thought they were going to sell off. The reality is they've been much better since they've traded Devers, and the Giants have been much worse since they've traded Devers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's unlikely too. But yes, a guy like Adolis Garcia makes a lot of sense. Helps you defensively. He's got a cannon. Hits for, he basically, that's what he does now, is just hits for a ton of power. He is clutch in his power. But he's a 234 hitter this year, but he has 13 home runs and just raw power for days. So that's a name that makes sense. And again, we talked about this in the past, an organization that makes sense. But the problem with that one is the Rangers right now are ahead of the Royals in the wild card standings. And so now you'd have to imagine the Rangers, who struggle offensively, trading away one of their better offensive players. Not his best year by any means, but he is productive this year in his age 32 season. So to me, I'm like, well, the Rangers are, what are they, a game, maybe 2 games under 500? They're ahead of the Royals. Yeah, they're just a game under 500. I don't think they're going to be sellers like that. Not for an everyday starter. I mean, Adolis Garcia starts every day for them in right field. Now, they got some depth in the outfield. They do have a little depth there.
But where they've been deficient is in the same area where the Royals have been deficient. Like, they need offense as well.
Right.
They've got good pitching, right? And so, will they be in the market for a pitcher to trade for Adolis Garcia? I doubt it.
I don't think the Rangers are trading Adolis Garcia. But to the original point and to Ken Rosenthal's point, and we've made this point too a million times, the Royals have a starting point, one that makes sense to probably any realistic trade they want to make. And that's one of these catchers, especially one of the top two. You've got Blake Mitchell, who is still just in high A, but he's only 20 years old. And you've got Carter Jensen knocking on the door in AAA. I mean, Carter Jensen's kind of ready to go. The Royals just don't have a place for him. And the reality is, are they going to have a place for him next year? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they going to have a place for him in 2 years? How much longer does Salvi have? How good do we feel about, Freddie Fermin? For me, I feel pretty good about Freddie Fermin. So, where, what are you going to do there? Yeah, I think
Freddie Fermin is fine. I think he can be a good part-time player.
Which most catchers are part-time players.
Yeah, I think that obviously they feel like, and I don't know whether it's Mitchell or Jensen is the future catcher, of this.
Well,
team.
Jensen's from Kansas City, which a lot of people like to point out all the time. And I get it. I understand why. In over 2 teams this year, he is hitting 286. For Omaha, he has played 13 games up at Omaha, so not very long. He's hitting 255, but he was killing AA pitching. So, yeah, I mean, he's got some pie. He's got 12 home runs this year between the two levels. Be hard to let him go. He's really good, and he's from Kansas City. But, Blake Mitchell, in a lot of people's eyes, Blake Mitchell's the higher-end catching prospect. There you go. Trade Blake Mitchell, right? Carter Jensen's the one ready to go and from Kansas City and all those fun things. We'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. We'll continue that. We'll get back into the Trey Smith deal when we return.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
They're not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
What is GMFB Overtime?
It's Peter, Jamie, Kyle, and Akbar breaking down the NFL 5 days a week.
It's okay to be excited.
It's this, that, and a whole lot of fantasy. It's football for everyone.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. on KSCW.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83101 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Daily on KFH. Tommy Castor, Jacob Albrock, Max Power producing the program on this Hawaiian shirt Wednesday. Max, I know you're rocking your tie-dye here this morning. That's your equivalent of a Hawaiian shirt, which is okay. I've got
it's Kamakona's shrimp truck shirt.
Yeah, I mean, that's an equivalent of a Hawaiian shirt. I've got a golf shirt on that is very subtle, and it's Hawaiian details, not like the pineapple that's all over the shirt like Jacob's rocking, but it does have some tropical vibes to it. So that's about as close as I'm going to get today.
I don't know what else needs to happen to get you on board this train.
Hey, I'm on it.
Listen, to make your life better.
I'm on it like 1 foot on, 1 foot off, and that's about the best you're going to get.
Make your life better. That's all I'm saying. One more name, Tommy, and then we'll go back to the All-Star game. We'll go to the Trey Smith news. Eugenio Suarez is the guy I keep thinking about for Arizona. He is expiring. He is still highly, highly effective. Is he, as a rental, somebody you'd be willing to give up one of those catching prospects for? For me, I'd really think about it if I was the Royals.
I would say tentatively yes, but I'd want to know what the clear plan is for Maikel Garcia. Where does he move on the field, right? Because Suarez is a third baseman. Maikel Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, Garcia's played outfield. He can play the outfield. India can play the outfield.
You move Maikel Garcia to second base. Like, I just would like to know what that plan is in the field. But yeah, from an offensive point of view, I mean, he becomes a high impact bat right away for you.
He's on the shelf, I think, right at the moment.
He
Just
played
looking
last
at
night. He played in the All-Star game. So
yeah, so that's he's fine. I'm just looking at him. I'm just trying to make sure we're not forgetting about a player, and this was written yesterday. So I guess he's fine. Yeah.
he, I mean,
The other
he was hit by a pitch in the All-Star game, and he had to have X-rays done.
no, that's not what this is saying. He could be on the shelf with a hamstring, which doesn't
Gotcha.
appear to be the case. And then Josh Naylor is a name also of the Diamondbacks that comes up. He probably makes less sense because he's a first baseman. I don't think he plays any other position. Ryan O'Hearn, guy obviously the Royals are familiar with, probably also doesn't make any sense. Ryan McMahon could be an interesting name. He has not been great this year, but he's an experienced bat that probably wouldn't cost you a ton. So, I don't know. The Yankees may be in on because they may be in on a third baseman too. So it's just some names to think about. But I think if I had my perfect fit, it would probably be Suarez without giving up one of the catching prospects. But even if it was going to cost you one of them, I'd be tempted. But again, not until July 30th when we see how the next 2 weeks go. That's not a trade I'd make today.
Yeah, I'm not sure outside of one of the top catching prospects who else they could move to get a guy like Eugenio
Well, he's a
Suarez.
rental. Rentals have gone down in value, and the Royals have other players that are fine in the farm system that you could trade. I mean, nobody batted an eye at trading Cole Reagans away from the Rangers for Aroldis Chapman. And again, Chapman helped them win a World Series, but it's Cole Reagans we're talking about here. Nobody batted an eye at that at the time. So I think you just have to look at all of these guys. Speaking of the All-Star game last night, Tommy, back to the swing off was fantastic. I thought it was a good experience. The ABS was the other big notable thing, the automatic balls and strikes. Anybody not think that's a good idea? I mean, that's going to be in your living room.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be in your living room next year. I take issue with only having 4 of those challenges a game. I'd make it more.
Well, and I think that the biggest question mark going into it was how quickly is it going to be to get an answer? Like how quick can they get this done? Because Major League Baseball has worked so hard in speeding the game up overall with the pitch clock and other things like that. So if you're going to do something that is going to stop down the game to challenge balls and strikes, then that's counterproductive to what the ultimate goal is, and that's to speed the entire game up. It took seconds. Like when they were challenging balls and strikes, like 5 seconds, there was the answer on whether or not it actually was a ball or a strike, and then they just moved on.
Somebody timed it. I was reading this morning. Somebody timed it. It was like an average of 10 seconds to 10 to 11 seconds.
Which is fine. I mean, that's the basically less than what a pitcher has to take another pitch. Like
Rob Manfred has I think basically said he's going to propose it for 26. The players and the managers will be in favor of this. Honestly, if I'm an umpire and this is the option versus all robot umps, I probably would also be in favor of this. Only because and the challenge system, I'm willing to do umpires with the challenge system because I think for the vast majority of these situations in the middle of a count, it's not that big a deal. It is like we saw with Edwin Diaz at the end of the game. Like this was a game-altering strike and ball call, right? And you're as much as you're going to want to have hitters and pitchers and catchers challenging everything, like you got to be like, hang on, guys. Like, let's save these for some big spots. I know you wanted to have a 2-1 count instead of a 1-2 count, but you'll be okay, princess. Like, get up there and hit the ball.
Yeah, you're going to see it, assuming that this sort of thing gets implemented long term in Major League Baseball, you're going to see those challenges used on inning-ending strikeouts or a walk that could have been a strikeout, or like things that are potentially game-altering, put a runner on base, end an inning, get out of a jam, like things like that, which I think is perfectly fine.
I do too. And I would do more than 4. If they want to start at 4, that's okay. I'd probably do more like 6 or 8. Because
I would
again,
go one an inning. Like, you have 9, you can challenge one.
Yeah, I don't want to put it in an inning because what if there are 2 critical calls in an inning, right? Like I think the total numbers, I would, you can't do unlimited.
No, you
listen,
challenge every call then.
Listen, I just, it's a step in the right direction. We might get there and feel like it's enough. I think there is just like with the regular challenge system and Bobby Witt Jr. being called out on a steal, he very clearly was safe on because you could fit a piece of paper between his thumb and a base for a fraction of a second. Like, that's stupid. And that drives me insane. But for the most part, the challenge system has been good on out and safe, right? Other than that particular thing, which happens. The only thing I can think of is these stolen bases where that happens, where a guy overslides the bag. You got some injury risk there. There's no other way for a guy to safely slide in than that, basically. Like, you can't, like, they need to
the Royals that was called out a few games ago because
Bobby Witt Jr.
was Bobby Witt
stealing
Jr.
late in the game. Yeah, like it was a game-altering play.
And it was very, very, very minuscule.
It's a stupid call.
Yeah,
they need to stop that. It happens all the time. So anyway, like, we're going to get there with, like, there is a point of diminishing return with this. Like, if they're challenging every call, it's like, okay, like, that's enough. Like that, maybe it's only at bat ending balls and strikes can be challenged. Maybe that's where you get. And I'm not saying that I advocate for that, but I'm just trying to think of a way where you could, because what I fear is you've got 4 challenges. You use them because the umpire's having a bad night. And then in the 9th inning, you don't have one to use when they make a bad call. Like, that's a little dicey.
You could, in theory, be proactive and not necessarily do challenges, but have, potential at-bat ending pitches automatically reviewed and then confirmed or changed. That could be potentially something where
that's not a bad idea.
Rather than a player being able to challenge it,
If
you've got an 0-2 count and there's a pitch that the umpire called the strikeout for, and it's on the corner, like, those are just automatically reviewed. And
I like that, actually.
Like, yep, you're good, or nope, actually that's a ball.
The good news is, and on that one too, like the theatrics of putting it up on the screen, which I love, by the way. I think it's awesome.
Yep.
And that being the reason it takes 10 seconds, you can just have the umpire make the call, hold it, and either confirm or deny it. It would take 2 seconds, right, for him to get buzzed that way. So yeah, I like that idea. And then the other thing that you were on, and I totally agree. Thank you for putting baseball players back in their primary uniforms for the All-Star.
So good.
There was nothing better as a fan, being a kid that watched every second of these All-Star games, than finally when you'd see the Rangers uniform out there. Like, it's like, there it is. Yeah, that's awesome. Let the funny jerseys be for the Derby, with the way it always has been.
Yep.
And forever they did that until it's been like 6 years that they've been doing the other thing. It makes it feel more like a exhibition silly show.
It's homogenized when you put all these players in the same uniform, and they want to go and be proud and represent their team. And I think that's fantastic. I love the fact that they went back to that. And even the managers, I mean, Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts in interviews during the game both said, thank you, Major League Baseball, for bringing this back. I think everybody universally, outside of the jersey manufacturers who are making money on these jerseys, I think love the fact that the players are back to their team uniforms, which is great.
It's the way the game should look. And you bring up Aaron Boone, Aranda.
Well, and I mentioned the in-game interviews too. There were so many of them last night.
They put them every Sunday Night Baseball has them, and Fox's broadcast have them.
But you know what? I read this because people were talking about it on social media. Like, man, there are far more player interviews than we've seen in years past. At least it felt that way. And there were a few people that confirmed that the reason why we saw so many more is because players are getting paid to do it. Like, if you agree to put on a microphone and an earpiece, you're getting paid $15,000 for a half inning to go and do that. Yeah. And so that's why we're seeing more players doing it, because they're getting compensated to talk while they're playing. And generally speaking, I don't have a problem with, like, if you put a microphone on the right fielder who's just waiting for a ball to come his way to have a conversation. I don't like it on the pitcher as he's trying to pitch, because
I kind of like it in the All-Star
he's
game.
Involved in that. And it was fun to have Clayton Kershaw kind of do it, because the story for him being an all-star and all of that. But other than that, like, I didn't like.
Was it last year they first did it with the pitcher? I think it was last year. And to hear him be like, all right, I'm gonna throw a slider here. Like, that was I for the All-Star game. Now on, like, Sunday Night Baseball or wherever else, I wouldn't want it then.
Yeah.
But for just the All-Star game, which means nothing, I'm okay with it because I want to hear what a pitcher's thinking about.
Here's a hot take. I think the reason why Tarek Skubal gave up 2 runs in the first inning was because he was mic'd up and distracted. That's just my hot take.
And it didn't matter to anything. It means
I
nothing.
know, but
yeah, that's $15,000. That's essentially my entire year's salary in my first year as a broadcaster. I think I made $16,500. They made that in 4 sentences. Yeah. Jeez. Makes me feel special. All right. We got more Sports Daily coming your way. Don't go away. It's a Wednesday. It's Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday. Thanks for celebrating, everybody who's not a fun hater.